your tour guide through South Central Los Angeles.
P.D. Sousa back inside the green room. That song can only make you think of one movie. Like It or Not, Dad, it is an American movie classic, Boys in the Hood. And the reason I come back to that song is because a certain scene in that movie, Boys in the Hood, really kind of takes me to my next topic. And the scene I'm talking about is when things are starting to come to a head between I don't want to call them gangs because they weren't gangs, but the rival groups. You know, there was Doughboy, stepbrother Ricky, and Trey, and then there was that group of guys who were really, portrayed as super thug type guys. The one guy with the long hair and his buddies used to just ride around with a sawed-off shotgun, and they were bad news. Well, anyways, said guy with the long hair bumps into Ricky, Morris Chestnut's character, and these guys exchange words, and it looks like a fight's going to break out between these two groups. And this one girl, looks at all these guys, and she says something that rings true today, to me at least. She said, "Can't we have one night where there ain't no fights and nobody gets shot?" Well, can't I have one day where I look to the newspaper for my NFL coverage and either a story about the lockout, and a ridiculous lockout story it usually is, something about guys continually getting turned away from their facilities as they try to prove that they're working out, so when they go to court to try to get their workout bonuses, they'll win. It's either a lockout story like that, for which, by the way, if Lester Munson, ESPN's attorney at large, doesn't come on and explain to me what the hell the person before him just said, I'm still sitting there totally confused. I can't ever totally grasp it unless my man Lester comes in on the back end and tells me exactly what was just said. His interpretation usually leads me to the details of what actually is going down. It would be pretty cool to have him just kind of interpret what people say in all facets of life for me. And we'll go back to that later on. But anyways, it's either a lockout story that's ridiculous, or a story about a player with some outrageous quotes, or, of course, with Twitter now, outrageous tweets. And the most recent one is by Rashard Mendenhall of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but Mendenhall had some tweets that kind of have a lot of people scratching their head. Here's the quote, or here's the tweet, and I quote, or I quote the tweet, or whatever the hell. "What kind of person celebrates death? It's amazing how people can hate a man they have never even heard speak. We've only heard one side." End tweet, or whatever. This was, of course, said in reference to the killing, or the celebration of the killing, of Osama bin Laden. My biggest problem with all this is that there's a big chunk. We're in an age now where newspapers are paper thin, no pun intended, once they go to press, especially sports sections now. And I'm looking at 9 inches of reaction to tweets by Rashard frickin' Mendenhall. Again, back to that scene. Can we have one night where there ain't no fights and nobody gets shot, as that girl said? Can I have one day where I pick up my sports section in the Inquirer and it's not dominated football-wise by either ridiculous talks of the lockout, or a player with an outrageous take? Usually, at least, it's an outrageous take on the lockout. This time, it's an outrageous take on a situation that I would just think he wouldn't even have a take on, he being Rashard Mendenhall. But, what do I know? Maybe Rashard Mendenhall is totally up to speed on all that stuff and has a real opinion on, the United States government taking the life of bin Laden. I want to go back to Lester Munson, just traveling around with me, explaining things. Like maybe in college, a girlfriend would say, "You said you were going to see Scream with me, but you went to see it with Connor Marsden." I didn't say we were going to see Scream. I said we were going to go to the movies. "But Scream is the best movie out right now. Nah, nah, nah." And then Lester would just come out of nowhere and start to interpret. "Well, When you say you're gonna go see a movie with your girlfriend, it has to be the best one out there. If Scream is #1 at the box office, you can't go ahead and take her to see a movie like Fear, no matter how good that Ferris wheel scene was. Or something like that. Pete Sousa, in the green room.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
It's gonna make a hell of a movie, huh? Hey!